Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the next video on our series covering April finals. So this is actually April qualifiers now. This is our final games to qualify in the winners bracket to Spinal. So if we lost this, we would probably still qualify through losers bracket. But we actually lost in March to Spinal in winners, and then we lost in losers too. Or maybe it's the other way around. We faced Spinal and losers and we lost them. So this was like a revenge match for us. Because this is how we didn't qualify in March. We lost to Spinal. They're a very good team. And unfortunately, they didn't qualify for April, which is why I was really looking forward to covering these games, because this team is really strong actually, and I think they'll be a top contender in May finals, which is actually, the qualifiers are this weekend, so stay tuned. Someone from Luminosity, like my team, will probably stream. I know Rin's gonna stream for sure. I'm not sure if I'll stream yet, but if you want to check out my streams, you've been enjoying the videos, then you can check out the link down below. I have a link to my Linktree and Twitch is there, as well as all my other social medias if you want to check them out. But yeah, I'm not going to cover the drafts too in depth because obviously the meta is a lot different. There's balance changes. There's going to be different mons like banned and unbanned. This was a couple weeks ago. But basically they banned Espeon, which you didn't see a lot of teams do in finals. I think they realized it was a bit troll. But they went these double speedster comps with like Hoopa, which was really cancer for us because they would just score behind us. And luckily this game we got Zoro, but it's really cancer with Zoro because OG's pretty good at Zoro. So they just run around the map scoring and killing us, and it was really annoying. But I'm playing the Trevenant this game. If you're curious about my build, I love running this build when we have a Comfy because you need to self-sustain. So I just go Pain Split, Potion, and no matter how much they poke me, I'll just be full health the whole time, even with no healer. So it's kind of my self-sustain build when you have a Comfy. I really love going it. So we actually have Rin. So if you don't know, Rin is usually our jungle, but we did this lane swap a lot in this tournament in finals too, where we sent Rin top and Overlord jungle, just because Rin is a phenomenal player if you knew him from last year. But the problem was that he took a break from Unite for like 8 months or some shit, maybe even longer. I forget the exact amount, but it was a really long time, right? So he hasn't really learned the new Pokemon like Zoroark, so it's just easier to let Overlord play it and let Rin play the Pokemon that he already knows how to play, like Buzzwole, Blastoise, and he can just go top lane with them. So that's the reason for this lane swap. It's purely because we haven't had enough time with the new team for everyone to be comfortable in their roles with their mon pools. But that's definitely something we're always working on. And for finals, like Rin already had more Pokemon he could play. And obviously for May qualifiers, he's been working on new Pokemon to be able to play as well. So unfortunate there, Overlord had to cancel his Feint attack, otherwise he would have died because they kind of surprised him. And it's because they sent 4 top, but we still get a lot of the Bs, 3v4, and they didn't get any scores off. So we're actually chilling. Now we're hard winning bot because they sent the Sylvie on top there. So it might have looked like a losing trade in the top side, but that's because they used the Hoopa hyperspace hold to teleport top with 4 people. But because of that, like, we got our scores in bot, like we're just hard winning bot now. And I believe I was a little low, and I'm running Potion, so I wasn't able to invade this game. It's unfortunate with Comfy. Otherwise, if I was running X speed and I was a bit higher health, I would have invaded after that top play. The Urshifu comes top and he kills Rin, but Overlord actually kills the other 2 and then ends up killing the Urshifu. So really good for us. I believe I got that big B. Let me go back. I'm actually curious if I got this big B. But I was contesting the mid Bs against Sylveon. Let's see who gets it. Yeah, it was me because the Sylveon EXP bar didn't go up at all. So that means I got the big B. And yeah, we're hard winning this early game. If you've been following the series so far, I've been going backwards. So I did grand finals first, all the way down to like semifinals until qualifiers now. And if you've been following, you know that Overlord has just been playing phenomenally this tournament on the speedsters like Zoroark and Dodrio. So really no surprise there. Here they crash bot with 3 people, and they all had small points. You can see like 19 points, 14 points, like 20 points, so we couldn't stop their scores. So it was really unfortunate. Actually, if I was standing on pad, I probably could have stopped the initial scores, which would have stopped the snowball of scores. So it's a small misplay by me. I should have just been standing on the pad, been more aware of that they'll do that. Again, Spinal really loves to score like that, and it's really annoying. They're really good at it. So like scrimming against them is honestly like, it's been a huge help in like us learning, because them playing these comps are really annoying, but it's really good for learning. Like we've learned a lot on like when we have to cover our zones from them scoring and other stuff like that. So again, like I said, Spinal is an amazing team. I'd honestly say they're a better team than YouTube. No offense to YouTube, and YouTube beat them in the qualifiers actually. So the reason Spinal didn't qualify is they lost to Team YouTube, which was the last game I just posted on the series. But I think on a good day, Spinal is probably better than Team YouTube. If you watch my video, you'll understand that Team YouTube kind of runs a comp that counters the double speedsters. So it's kind of a bad matchup for Spinal, you know. But if it was like Team YouTube versus TTV or Spinal versus TTV, I would say I think Spinal has a really good shot of beating TTV, whereas Team YouTube not so much. So here we used Buzzwell Unite and we went in trying to score, but the Blue Bear united back. So we trade 1-for-1 on Unites. Rin's not that fed, it's not a big deal. Again, this is a common theme I've been covering in my videos. It is okay to die when you're not that fed on levels. Rin was only level 9 when he died. The Blue Bear was like level 11. So he gave no experience when he died. This is not League of Legends. Dying is good. Most people that play solo queue still don't realize that. They think, oh, if you die, you're inting. No, that's not how this game works. It's a completely different game from other MOBAs. But we're just kind of trying to play across the map. We're going to get bot here, or we're going to get the top Reggie here. Overlord just smurfed on them, killed them all, forced them out. I get the bear full heal there, and we're just going to break bot now as well. And now I believe we're just going to go for this bot Reggie. We're not going to try to push our lead too much. It's dangerous to int at this point when we're so far ahead in experience. So I'm just zoning them here while we stall for time. We saw that there was 2 bot, so we thought maybe we could push it top. So here me and Rin are just running at this bot pad to stall him, and it works great. We stop 2 of them from going up, so it's a 3v3 top side, and Overlord is just omega fed on the Zorak, so he just like solo pushes it in. And by the way, sorry if you hear the background noise. That's my cat. She's playing around with her toys. I got a new cat recently, so it's a lot of work, but I've been enjoying having a cat in my life. I've always wanted one. Here they honestly, yeah, like the Dodrio comes in. We thought they weren't gonna be here, and they score behind, so they had 5 people here. We had Kyrios covering top. But I probably should have gone out to zone. I forget if I was low health or not. So unfortunate steal by the Dodrio there. We had no vision of them on the map. But honestly, it's not that bad. Honestly, it was worse that they scored on our pad behind. Let me get some water 1 second. Rin forces the Hoopa Unite. Hoopa wastes Unite, but it's not a big deal because they'll get it back by Rayquaza, so it's a good Unite timer. Pikatif recognizes that he can just Unite there to maybe get a kill. But yeah, them getting the Reggie is not a big deal. The bigger deal was that they scored behind us, even if it was a small overcap. But again, it's not the end of the world because it gives us Audinos. We still have a huge point and experience lead. So here they played it really well. The Mime walled off Rin, and then Dodrio scored. You can see how annoying this is. Like, it is virtually, if you get caught off guard, it is unplayable to stop these scores. And Spinal's really good at setting up these scores and getting away with it. But yeah, Rin just needed to play on pad there, recognize that they were missing on the map and could score. So again, that's been a learning curve with us. And definitely like these games in the qualifiers, we had to learn a lot about like covering scores, because the team was really bad at it still in this qualifiers. We got a lot better at it for finals. We're still working on it because sometimes we'll int and let them score. But yeah, we've been working on it. But for these qualifiers especially, we didn't work on it that much, so it was definitely a huge struggle. Rin gets a really good chunk on the Dodrio here. He decides to unite move Rin, but Rin is actually just clapping him, and the Dodrio unites Rin, and Rin lives and solo kills him without using anything. I don't think that, yeah, the Dodrio didn't even get Rin's focus band. So that is absolutely hilarious. They're down 1 unite move. They're definitely not going to get Dodrio unite back. We have a huge experience lead, a huge point lead. So we definitely hard won this game up until Rayquaza. Now we just have to worry about stopping them from flipping the Rayquaza, and we will win. The Mime goes in, dies for 15 seconds. Doesn't unite move because the Mime knows that we're not going to flip this Rayquaza. We have so much of a lead. We're just going to play to stop them from flipping, play to stall out the time. We believe we're strong enough where we can just stall them infinitely, and they'll just lose. So here they're just looking for an opening. The Sylveon has to unite because Overlord would have killed her. However, our Comfey does unite to make sure Overlord lives. The Dodrio is just going for backcaps, but we don't care about these backcaps because we're so ahead in points at this point. So these backcaps really don't do anything. Rin manages to be able to save his unite. He's low health, looking for an angle here, maybe in the team fight if he's needed. And Mime already united, so this should be a free kill. We're hard winning the fight in the back line. Oh yeah, this was sus. Curios died with Mew unite, so that was really bad. But me and Overlord are able to like 2v4 kill the rest of them. Curios got caught out. I think what happened was he was in the middle of boosted auto animation, and the Dodrio came out of like nowhere, like out of a bush, and drill pecked him. And if you didn't know this, if Mew's like in an animation, like the boosted auto animation or solar beam, it actually can't use unite move. So it's not like Curios is like an old man and couldn't react. It's like he inted by using his boosted auto, so he was in animation and couldn't use unite. So that's a Mew mechanic that a lot of non-Mew players tend to not know, and they think, oh, the Mew's inting, just like unite move there so you don't die. No, that's not how Mew works. But yeah, Curios definitely misplayed it, but it's not as bad as you think. It's not like he couldn't react in time, it's just that he inted by using his boosted auto. We'll go over draft a little bit here. Basically they drafted these double speedsters, and we thought Buzzwole would be enough to deal with them in team fights, which it is. The problem is we didn't have enough experience against the score comp yet, and let me tell you, the score comp is cancer. Game 2 is just the beginning. Wait until game 3. It was absolute cancer. So here we have Garchomp Jungle, actually, which you don't really see in a lot of other lanes. But we have the Eldegoss leash the red. This is, and take the red, actually. This is a common tactic in a lot of competitive games you'll see. If you're a solo queue player and you're confused, you like think this is inting. Basically with EXP share, if the support gets the last hit on the buff, they'll get the red buff, which helps them slow the enemy. But they get 30% of the experience, right? And the person near it still gets 100% of the experience. They changed EXP share recently in the last couple months, so it's still surprising how many people don't know that fact. But we're not losing anything by letting the support take it, because no matter who gets the last hit, if you have EXP share and 2 people are in range, the person without EXP share will still get 100% XP. So I'm sure the Dodrio wasn't expecting the focus band on the Garchomp, so it was a really good bait there by Rin. And now Elo's really inting here by not standing on pad. Elo definitely should have stood on pad there, and Rin would have been able to score. But we kill them top, we get all the Bs, and we get scores in on Buzzwole. So we're chilling. The Sylveon goes to invade, however, which is really bad because she manages to steal a red. I do believe we called out the invade was coming, but I guess Rin was just trying to rip the buff in time before the Sylveon gets there. The Dodrio invades the other buff, but Rin gets it, so that's huge because that gives him level 7 for the bees. Rin can now just sit bot lane, and Kyrus is going to go to mid bees to try to secure some of these mid bees. And Rin can just go for a score here. So we're honestly chilling. The red buff was unlucky, but I believe we killed the Sylveon anyways. So we got all the experience back for that. Rin, oh, I remember this int. So Rin went in a little too late trying to follow up my engage. If he went immediately, they both would have died. So it was unfortunate. He either had to go in immediately or not go in at all. But Kyrus loses his whole health bar, doesn't die, but Rin ends up dying. So it's a misplay there. We were hard winning the early game. We're still like hard. I'd say we're winning, right? But not really hard winning the early. All of the lanes are ahead, but jungle is slightly behind. But we have Espeon, we have Tree Eldegoss to pocket the Espeon, and we just have amazing secure on this. We can just rip it. And Spinal recognizes this, and they're just going to bum rush top. So now we have to try to get top in time to help Overlord, which Overlord does have Unite, but it's going to be a tall task for him to stall until we can get there. And he ends up just having to let it in. And here we're just getting bought to 3 points. And this is honestly not a bad game state for us because they did get some experience getting the top one in and scoring. However, we got the 3 Adinos now. However, this is where the issue comes because Overlord dies. So that gives them a lot of experience. And then there's chaos on the map as you try to cover all the goal zones. So letting it in top was fine. Overlord just tried to go for kills after he let it in top, which is not the play you want to make. But this game state's still fine for us. We got the bottom one. We got their goal zone to 1 point, and our bottom goal zone's pretty healthy. So we're probably even in points, if not slightly ahead. And we have a huge experience lead. So this game state is really good for us. We're hard winning in the mid game right now. Rin decides to Unite move to risk not dying. The Zork actually Unite moves back, but he messes up his combo, so Rin is able to solo kill him. So Rin is just getting all these solo kills on the Spinal players this series. This was really bad. I remember this. So this is another example of Rin played really well, but then he inted his positioning, letting the Dodrio score. What he needed to do there is just save his cooldowns. To make sure he can stop whoever goes to score on that pad, because that is so important. Letting them score 40 is a huge int. So we were chilling before, but now this is really bad because they're getting points on our tier 2. And now we were in the lead, but now the gap is just closing slightly more. I believe we're still ahead in points this game by Rayquaza, maybe not. But Rin, again, lets in another 32 points. So that was really bad. Again, we were really bad at covering this, but we've been working on it as a team. Just covering those caps because Rin let in 80 points, which is really, really bad. We were hard winning the game before that. So slight ints by Rin there. I mean, they look like slight ints, but they're honestly really, really big ints. Like, those scores are going to make the game really hard. Not only is it a ton of experience, right? But it's a ton of points. And it stacks for them because they're running like attack weight. So those scores are really, really bad. However, we're still winning. It's just we could have been hard winning, right? So it gets even worse in the third game. Which again, this is why Spinal is such good practice to play against, because it's really, really annoying what they do here. And we try to push this, but the problem was that the Dodrio is just hard chasing the Espeon, so Espeon can't do much in this fight. The Dodrio also makes it out after chasing the Espeon down and kills Overlord. So, and then the Zoroark comes in and kills Overlord, or Kyrus too. So not only is the points like more even now, we also entered a lot of experience back. So after winning game 1, this is definitely not a clean game 2. whatsoever. We could have been hard winning this game, but we're definitely inting it macro and mechanic wise right now. Rin is just gonna farm up. There's not much that's gonna happen, so I'm just gonna skip forward 30 seconds to this bottom Reggie. So his third Reggie, very important, and honestly the last 2 minutes of this game are super unlucky. You're gonna see. So they are trying to flip this Registeel. They chunk out Rin, which is whatever. But they're just flipping this Registeel. But we weren't worried because we have Espeon, right? What you guys don't see here. Okay, so what happened here that you don't see is we literally got the Zoroark to 1 HP. Look at the top here. Zoroark is literally dead as soon as the Registeel dies. So he got the Zoroark to 1 HP and we almost killed him. But he had his final Feint Attack combo. So after you do the whole Feint Attack combo, you get a last hit, which does insane amounts of damage. So it's a really good secure. And he had that. So as he, like his dying breath, literally he's 1 HP. He's a sliver of HP. He final Feint Attacks the objective and secures it over the Espeon. Curious, so the Zoroark was right here, right? Curious was right here. The Registeel was right here. So Zoroark was in between Curious and the Regi. And Curious is the Espeon. So he's our best secure, right? Curious Psyshocks, which in theory should kill the Zoroark and secure the Regi because it was in range for him. So it was like a 2-in-1 thing. The problem was the Zoroark was 1 HP and he dashed a bunch of times and barely got his final Feint Attack off to not only secure the Regi before he died, and he did end up dying, but that Registeel really comes back to bite us later on. You'll see. So that's the first really unlucky thing in these last 2 minutes. We still have a huge point lead, but now they got Registeel, so the EXP is like pretty even. And they have Registeel, which is like a 30% damage buff. That's like the worst Regi they can get before Rayquaza. That's really bad for us. So we kill them and they use more unites than us. So here they just hoop unite in the people who are invincible. So really good play because look, they come in through invincible. This is something you can do with Hoopa that's really broken. So we can't even hit them. Elo ints really hard here. What Elo needed to do here was sit next to Curious. But instead he ran in with Rin, which is really bad. Because Rin has Unite move and Eject button. So Rin can just harass them, easily get out. Eldegoss can heal him after he gets out. The problem with Elo being here is they can hard target Elo and kill him. And if that's the case, then Elo will have to Unite. But Elo really needs to save his Unite for Curious or later in the fight. So here you can see our Eldegoss Unite gets wasted. And now we have no pocket in the back line. And then me, Overlord, and Curious end up lining up for this Dodrio to get a 3-man Drill Peck. So if you look on the minimap here, we try to fight the Zoroark, and the Dodrio comes in from behind. So I'm gonna play it one more time so you can see. So Overlord's the Buzzwole, Curious is the Espeon, I'm the tree on the minimap, right? You can see here, I stun the Zoroark here. So me and Curious are trying to kill the Zoroark because I stun him. Overlord is like, yeah, let me Unite move in. So Overlord comes over to Buzzwole Unite move in. And we're chasing the Zoroark down. However, we did not see the Dodrio. So the Dodrio just popped up. And the Dodrio just comes from out of vision, like out of a bush. And 3-man Drill Pecks us in the back line. And we all die. Overlord doesn't get Unite move off. And again, Elo wastes his Unite. So it was just like a quadruple int, really. And the counterplay to that, like Overlord should have Unite moved immediately probably when he saw the Dodrio. And Overlord probably would have lived. We probably might be fine still. But yeah, it was just hard ints. And also really unlucky too at the 2-minute mark when they got the Registeel. So we ended up losing game 2. We weren't able to push. And on to game 3. So this was actually, like, if you watched our finals games, none of the series were really that close, right? Like, we ended up winning like 2-0 in almost all the games except for against Team YouTube. And the series just didn't feel close. Like, it wasn't like sweaty. But this was sweaty, let me tell you. We end up hard losing this third game in the early game. And again, they draft this double speedster comp. And instead of Hoopa this time, now they have Sableye because we took Hoopa. So, I mean, it's just... This comp is so cancer, bro. This comp they have right now, it's so good and it's so cancer. And Overlord decides to go with Machamp, which I do not think Machamp is the answer. Overlord no longer thinks Machamp is the answer too, but I could have told him this before qualifiers. So that's another thing that made this game really hard. And also, they have a Sableye, so Hoopa really needed to go full heal. It's to the point where, like, Curios probably should have gone full heal too. Maybe not, but Hoopa, definitely, it's a necessity to go full heal on Hoopa. Just because we're going to rely on Hoopa plays a lot, where the Hoopa needs to unite us all in. But the Sableye is going to stun, right? And also, like, what they do is the Sableye will stun, and then they'll try to score. So there were games where, like, we needed Elo to Hoopa portal top to cover scores they were doing top, and then the Sableye came bottom and stunned Elo so he couldn't portal top, and they got all their scores top. You'll see what I mean later on. But that's why Elo really needed full heal this game. Like, it's a necessity, and he didn't go full heal, so Elo kind of inted with his build here. And the Sableye invades and we didn't cover. We probably should just cover the blue buff. I think we do that later on because of this game. We were like, holy shit, that's cancer. Like, Elo should just help do the blue buff too. But Rin gets most of his jungle and he can just get level 5 down here, so it's not the end of the world. Lanes went okay. You can see it, me and Curios are hard winning lane. He's higher level than the Espeon, so bottom lane actually went really good. And top lane, they're level 5 Machamp, so it's going okay. Here they have 3 bots, which I didn't expect. So that was really bad. I definitely inted there by dying. I just need to play safe until we see them all. But Hoopa portals down to cover, and we kill them. So because of that, we're now like really good in this early game. I'm leashing the blue buff for Rin. Again, I talked about EXP share earlier in the video. But yeah, really good cover by Elo there. We managed to kill 2 of them and they didn't score. That could have been a disaster if we didn't have Hoopa. They're sending a lot to middle here and they decide to try to target Elo. I don't really know what they're doing. But we get all the mid Bs. So this early game's actually going really well. You might be thinking, where did it all go wrong? This early game's going pretty well, Slash. Well, you will see. You are in for a ride. So here, the problem was Elo is 4 stacking bot when we're hard winning bot, right? Curios is level 7. I'm like level 6. We are hard winning bot. We do not need Hoopa here. So we really needed Hoopa top earlier to support them because we have no vision on the map. So they could easily have 3 people top, which is what they do. They have 3 people top. And the problem is, Elo does portal here, but he needed to be up there sooner so that he could also portal people from bot lane up to help sooner too. And me and Elo do portal up, and I do eventually kill one of them, I believe, but they got all their scores in because Elo wasn't top lane. So Elo smurfed it with the portal early game, but he really hard inted on the positioning there. So I do kill one, but them getting their scores in, that got them back in the game. Scores give you so much experience, and now like their experience is fine and they can actually fight us now, where before we were hard winning the early game. So again though, if Overlord wasn't Machamp, like probably any other top laner would have lived there against that gank, like if he was like a Gudra or like Garchomp, right? So Machamp, not the best. That's one of the weaknesses of the pick. As you can tell, I'm not the biggest Machamp fan. We have Mew, E-Ball with the Urshifu. So we do get the Reggie. The problem is here, again, Elo needs to be on the pad and going top to stop this score comp. but Elo's inting with his positioning here when there's 3 people top. I mean, we had a team convo about this after, how Elo's inting on the Hoopa here. So we could have easily stopped them from scoring like 30 top. Because we have 4 people bot already, and they have 3 people top. We really don't need that much help. So Elo definitely should have gone top sooner to help Overlord. So I mean, it's just misplays in the macro on Hoopa. Again, the whole team wasn't used to this. So Rin and Elo are inting, like letting a lot of scores in, and it might seem like small ints, but in Pokemon Unite, scores are a really big deal. So it's a really big problem. And then Elo actually ints again here, and he lets the Sableye push him back and push the Reggie into the top tier 2. Again, like, this is a huge issue for us this game. We just didn't have enough practice against Score Comp and Sableye. So Elo really inted hard in the last like 2 minutes, that them score like 200 points that they shouldn't have. It's almost close to like 250. No, it's around 200 points, but yeah. So we do break bot, but now we're down like 100 points, and like having your tier 1s broken is the worst thing against Score Comp. If you watched us against Team YouTube, we weren't able to break a tier 1, and it was so hard to play the game. But as soon as you get that tier 1 broken, they can cause chaos here. You can see there's running around like X-speeding, stealing our points and scoring. And they win. They're just wasting our time, right? They don't care if they die. They're just trying to get their scores in and making sure we don't score. And as long as they get enough scores in, they'll get a lot of experience, right? So Rin unfortunately misses his Unite move. If he goes on the Dodrio there, he lives. So let me see what actually happened here. Oh, he was just spamming auto aim on it. So that's a misplay by Rin. If he just went on Dodrio, he probably lives. But yeah, this game is just rough at this point. We're down at least 100 points, I believe. And they're trying to score here, and they just 4-man collapse on bot and kill Elo and Kyros. And this is why I said just Hoopa not having full heal. So you see the problem here is they stunned Elo. So again, I talked about this earlier. Elo inted with his build on Hoopa here. He needed to go full heal so he can get his Unite move off. And if he got his Unite move off, they don't score on our pad. But now, because Elo didn't go full heal, again, and if you're not full heal, he just needs to sit on the pad there. Like, he's way too far up. So not Elo's best game. But now they score like 100 points on our bottom pad, and we're down 200 points at this point. We're down over 200 points, probably like 250 points we're down at this point. And we just need to Hail Mary. We're gonna have like 5 Unites here for this top fight. So you might be wondering, like, hey, why are you AFK on the pad? It's because we have Hoopa Unite. So my job here is just to make sure they don't score any more behind us. And I'm not even going to take the Hoopa TP right away, because I want to make sure they don't score any more points, because we don't need to get to more of a point deficit, you know? So I'm just waiting here until, so you can see I'm looking at the mini map. Okay, I accidentally clicked something. But basically what I was doing here is I'm looking at the mini map, right? And I see, okay, we still have Sableye. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. So we only saw 3 people. And then I saw the Dodrio. That's 4. So I still need to cover the pads because we still don't see Zoroark. So that's why I'm not teleporting yet. But Rin sees Zoroark on the minimap. So as soon as I see Zoroark, I'm like, okay, there's 5 people there. I can teleport in. And so this is our final Hail Mary fight. We really need this to work. We blow all our Unite moves. We score. Rin's trying to kill this Zoroark on the tier 2. It's not going well. But we did get a couple scores in. We got a couple kills. So it didn't work out that well, but you can see we got a decent amount of scores in. So now we're only like 200 points behind. I late Tree Unite here, just trying to stall, but probably just shouldn't unite there. I thought maybe I could get another kill or two, get some good experience. And we have a lot of farm on the map, so it's not going to be that hard to get my Tree Unite back. But it's probably safer to just not Tree Unite after everyone's dead. And now this is really bad, because this is what we call a win condition, right? The Regieleki is going to push into our home base. Whether they get the Rayquaza or not, if the Reggie goes into our home base at 2 minutes, they're just going to score double time points and we lose, because we're already 300 points behind. So now that they have this pushing in during the Rayquaza, we either have to defend this or we have to go to Rayquaza. So usually the only play you can make is you have one person defend the Reggie while the 4 other people try to be at the Rayquaza. Since we have Hoopa though, we could have like people rip it and have the Hoopa go mid, which is what we're doing. So we just all ripped it, and then the Hoopa's middle to stop. And they decided to just get the bot Reggie with this top Reggie. So they got the top Reggie a little early. They could have stalled it a little longer and it would be a better win condition for them. But they decided, hey, it's a bit risky. Why don't we just get the bottom objective? I think us personally, we would just stall this top objective. But you can see I still don't have Tree Unite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defend the pads because we have Hoopa. So I'm doing the same thing I was before. They're playing score comp trying to score. So I'm defending these pads. And I'm standing on the jump pad here. You can see this is key. This is the crucial moment. They try to dive Curious. So the Sableye is currently on Curious. You can see a little orange behind him. The Sableye is stunning Curious right now on the pad. And the Zork's trying to go in. I jump and stun the Sableye. And I ward off the Zork. And again, you can see Elo died here because he doesn't have full heal. Elo actually entered this game so hard with his build and like some of the positioning earlier in the game, but it's fine. Elo died again, but because I stood on the jump pad, I jumped down on the Sableye. We're able to get this kill on the Sableye, which is huge. So it's a 4v4. And the Sableye is gonna... Oh, the Sableye actually lives. Okay, never mind. I'm trolling. I thought the Sableye really died. Oh, he did. Okay. That's what I thought. But so the Sableye is dead for a long time and Elo's already back up. So this is huge for us. And Rin gets a huge flank here. He comes in behind and they're not protecting their Espeon well enough. So Rin is just able to go in and he gets this really big punch on the Espeon. And I'm there with him, so I also stun the Espeon. And the Espeon tries to unite, but we just Urshifu unite the Espeon to kill. The Espeon still is unite. It didn't fully go off. So you have to be careful of that. But with the Espeon kill, now we can just reset, right? Because we have Hoopa. And after we reset, we teleport back in and we're all full health. So Curious messed it up a bit. He should have reset too and teleported back like Rin did. So Curious kind of inted a little there. But now we have really good odds. We have Urshifu and Mew. So we have 2 really good secures. They have no good secures here. So we Solar Beam, Punch, nothing they can do. And the Zoroark, this is really funny actually. The game would have been really close still. But the Zoroark is trying to score. And we get the Rayquaza. And the Zoroark was 1 HP. So look at the Zoroark. He dies to the Rayquaza tornado. So honestly, if they get that 100 score, it's still a bit sus for us that they stop some of our scores. But they all died too. So what Spinal should have done here is the Zoroark scores, right? Don't die to Rayquaza tornado, just dash out of it. It's not that hard. The rest of them don't even try to steal. Just don't try to steal the Reggie. You sit in one of your bushes and get rid of our shields. They get that 100 off. They destroy some of our shields and they probably would have won the game. Because we inted so hard in the early game. But again, this series was so close. Was not a fan of our draft, or the builds, or our macro. But this is qualifiers, so you can see we worked on a lot of these issues before finals. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll be covering EOS Cup next. I'll catch you in the next one.